This is The Wire for 2230 Zulu, September 11th, 2024. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2130. Bottom line up front. U.S. sends another aid package to Ukraine. India-China border dispute continues. Beginning with international events, in southern Asia, border tensions between India and China have begun to slightly escalate again, as China has increased their presence in the highly contested Arunachal Pradesh region. Monday afternoon, a local news outlet published photos indicating the presence of a previous Chinese encampment in the region, along with local humans that suggests other PLA encampments becoming more common throughout the region over the past few months. Analysts comment. Details are hard to confirm, but the reason this may increase tensions is due to the location itself. Allegedly, graffiti and PLA ration pack wrappers were found almost 40 miles across the border, deep inside the contested region. China and India have been squabbling over this region for many years, along with other border disputes that go back decades. However, if PLA troops are patrolling this deep over the border, these increasing border incursions could be yet another point for worsening relations between nations that are already very adversarial. On the home front, in Washington, D.C., this afternoon, the State Department announced another aid package for Ukraine, totaling $717 million. This comes as Secretary of State Blinken states that Russia has received ballistic missiles from Iran for use in Ukraine. Analyst comments for this wire. Considering the trend of escalations within the Ukrainian war, the next very likely step would be for the United States to allow for even fewer restrictions on the use of American-made weapons by Ukraine. Both sides have increasingly begun slipping their gloves off slowly as the 2 years of stagnation have given way to increased efforts by both sides to return to a war of motion, or in some way change the dynamic of how the war has gone so far. If Ukraine begins to lash out at Moscow even more deliberately than they already have, Russia will respond in kind. Likewise, as Russian gains are made on the Eastern Front and Ukraine's foray into Kursk remains relatively stagnant, Ukraine will without question take advantage of all of the technology the United States gives them. For both Zelensky and Putin, winning at all costs is the goal, which, considering the imbalance between the two nations, is undoubtedly resulting in more devastation for one party than another. Escalating a war to include more civilian targets, more long-range attacks on civilian centers, more attacks on oil fields, or generally moving towards a state of total war, is very unwise to encourage when these last-ditch efforts are not only unlikely to result in any meaningful change, but also decreasing the chances for a favorable peace deal at a later time. This concludes The Wire for 2230 Zulu, September 11th, 2024.